Germany are going far in this tournament. Far, far away from it, that is. For the third straight World Cup, they have failed to reach the round of 16. That means they haven't won a single knockout game at a World Cup since lifting the trophy in 2014. Yes, there was pessimism surrounding this team from day one, but it was in anticipation of a narrow last 16 defeat to France, not a round of 32 elimination at the hands of a Paraguay side ranked 41st in the world. After the group stage collapse in Russia in 2018 and then the same humiliation in Qatar 4 years later, this was supposed to be the reset. Instead, it has confirmed that Germany's fumbling isn't a blip, it's a pattern.
Because I agree with you about the lack of chemistry, lack of creativity. There just doesn't seem to be a real team in this national side right now.
But let's be real, how did it actually come to this? For over 70 years, Germany have been a powerhouse in the World Cup, winning 4 titles in 1954, 1974, 1990 and 2014. Yet the 2014 triumph, glorious as it was, marked a turning point. By the early 2010s, the game was quicker, sharper and more tactically demanding. In Germany too, there was a growing appetite for control over chaos. So when Joachim Löw took charge in 2006, the DFB committed to a possession-based philosophy, one inspired by Spain's era of dominance and, more notably, Pep Guardiola's successful stint at Bayern Munich. In Brazil, that style culminated in perhaps the ultimate symbiosis of order and creativity ever displayed by a German team. The balance of tactical clarity, technical precision and collective spirit delivered a 4th World Cup triumph, with the 7-1 demolition of the hosts in the semi-final becoming an instant landmark. And yet, buried within that triumph lay the first cracks. Possession, once a means to control matches, slowly hardened into doctrine, and the philosophy that had lifted them to the summit stopped serving the team and instead became an end in itself. Back-to-back group stage exits in 2018 and 2022 shattered the aura. Across both tournaments, Germany dominated the ball but seldom the scoreboard. Possession for possession's sake, neat but sterile and controlled yet toothless. 4 years ago in Qatar, Hansi Flick's men lacked the trademark determination that defined past German squads, the unshakable belief that they could stage a comeback no matter the score. Instead, it was Japan who pulled a page out of Germany's playbook, recovering after going behind to steal a 2-1 win in their opening group clash. They followed that same script in their final group game against Spain, topping Group E, the supposed group of death, and sending Germany packing. After drawing with Spain and riding out a rollercoaster 4-2 win against Costa Rica, Germany's fate had already been sealed by that entirely avoidable opening defeat to Japan. Flick's side proved to be a patchwork of inexperienced players on the international stage. Unbelievable, really, to think they finished with the tournament's highest expected goals and expected goals difference across just 3 games, yet still exited at the group stage. At the other end, a defence with more holes than cheese only added to the problem. But it was always hard to expect a well-oiled backline when Flick had experimented with 12 different back 4 combinations in his 17 games in charge. This left them imbalanced, often caught on the counter and lacking a clinical edge in attack, showing that lessons from 2018 hadn't been learned. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, we'd be incredibly grateful if you subscribed. Your support helps us grow and continue creating the content you love. What hurts most about this elimination is that after 2 years of promising progress under Nagelsmann, it feels like Germany are right back at square one. He had quietly rebuilt them around a generation of technical talent, moving away from the rigid possession systems that defined previous regimes and toward a more vertical, higher tempo style that's, quite frankly, far harder to defend against. During Euro 2024 qualifying, Nagelsmann had leaned on a notably broad squad. But with that same group now more seasoned and settled, he's been able to rebuild around a defined core, spearheaded by 3 truly world-class players. Buoyed by a strong Euro 2024 campaign on home soil, Germany entered this World Cup cycle full of belief, even after losing 4 seasoned leaders in Manuel Neuer, Toni Kroos, Thomas Müller and Ilkay Gundogan to international retirement. It marks a true changing of the guard because for the first time, the current squad features no veterans from that 2014 World Cup winning side. It was until Neuer pulled a full U-turn this past month and earned a surprise call-up to the World Cup squad. The goalkeeper just doesn't retire, does he? The group phase of the 2024-25 Nations League underlined their steady progress, capped by a thrilling quarter-final win over Italy. a team that has long been their Achilles heel at major tournaments, assuming they qualify in the first place. However, the summer of 2025 brought about a hat-trick of setbacks. Defeats to Portugal and France in the semi-final and third-place playoff were bad enough, but they were compounded by a shock 2-0 loss to Slovakia in their opening World Cup qualifier. Yet, Julian Nagelsmann's side bounced back, claiming wins in their next 4 qualifiers, even if their performances didn't always meet their own lofty standards. But what truly vindicated their improvement was a 6-0 thrashing of Slovakia to cap off the group stage. A result that avenged their prior defeat, confirmed them as group winners with 15 out of a possible 18 points, and sealed their 19th consecutive World Cup finals appearance. And that brings us to 2026. Gosh, where do we even begin? The reasons for Germany's exit this time around are more varied than their defensive mistakes. First and foremost, too many key players simply didn't deliver. Captain Joshua Kimmich underwhelmed. Florian Wirtz, despite registering 3 assists, appeared to carry inconsistent club form into the tournament. And Jamal Musiala looked like a player still searching for rhythm after a long injury layoff. Yet at this rate, it could be 2034 and Germany would still be trying to build a team around him. Collectively, Germany were fragile in defence and blunt in attack. They didn't go a single match without conceding and, aside from the opening win over Curaçao, failed to turn promising passages of play into convincing results against stronger opposition. Pre-tournament injuries certainly didn't help. Losing a resurgent Serge Gnabry was a major blow. To then see his club teammate Lennart Karl suffer an injury just days before the tournament further dimmed optimism, as the teenager looked set to shine down the right-hand side. However, the loss of Nico Schlotterbeck during the first half against the Ivory Coast may have been the most damaging, as Germany not only lost their most dangerous aerial threat but also their most reliable presence in build-up, something Nagelsmann later admitted had been too slow against Paraguay. Then there's Nagelsmann himself and his series of questionable personnel and in-game decisions. His decision to recall 40-year-old Manuel Neuer, while understandable given his legacy, didn't prove to be the decisive factor he suggested it would be, and may well have unsettled the squad hierarchy. Neuer's return itself wasn't entirely surprising. What was surprising, however, was the timing of the late call-up on the eve of the tournament, particularly considering it was Oliver Baumann who had helped Germany qualify in the first place following Neuer's retirement in 2024. More puzzling still was Nagelsmann's refusal to give Baumann an opportunity against Ecuador, even after knockout qualification had already been secured. His strange faith in Leroy Sané was not rewarded either. 8 years ago, when the winger possessed blistering pace and not the footballing IQ of Garnacho, the call-up might have made sense. But Nagelsmann bizarrely started Sané in every match. And despite his goal against Ecuador, he was diabolically bad against Paraguay, losing possession a staggering 23 times and failing to complete a single one of his 7 dribbles. Meanwhile, Deniz Undav's explosive group stage cameos, 3 goals and 2 assists in just 56 minutes, went unrewarded with a sustained starting role. But when Nagelsmann did finally start him against Paraguay in place of Musiala, Germany lost their most effective impact sub without gaining a genuine focal point. Tactically, questions lingered too. Should Kimmich have operated centrally rather than being exposed to pacey wingers out wide? Was the Pavlovic and Mejca double pivot, which rarely convinced, worth persisting with when the side appeared overly technical and lacking physical authority?
It's almost like he shoehorned Kimmich into the team at right back, because he said, I like Pavlovic, I like Mejca, they can get around the pitch, so we're going to have to play you somewhere. I know, let's play him right back.
Crazy for a player of his caliber.
It's not his best position. He's a better midfield player than Pavlovic.
Even if this squad were far from genuine contenders in terms of quality and depth, Nagelsmann still struggled to get the best out of it.
We didn't really have wingers at the time either. We had Mesut Özil, we had Mario Götze, we had Andre Schürrle, but we found solutions. And we conceded 4 goals in the entire tournament.
Beyond tactics, the weight of expectation once again seemed to suffocate rather than inspire. The German jersey carries history, but lately it has also carried an insurmountable pressure.
Players afraid to take that responsibility, afraid to put themselves in those moments of high pressure, which I did not think I would ever see in my lifetime, and to see it play out in real time just adds to the disappointments around German football.
The numbers underscore the decline. When Germany left Rio in 2014 as world champions, they had won 75% of all games they had ever played at the World Cup. They have now won just 40% of them since, while Germany have not ranked higher than 9th in FIFA's standings since 2018 and now risk sliding further down. The last time they endured a downturn of this magnitude, after early exits at the 1998 World Cup and Euro 2000, the DFB responded with radical reform. Youth development was overhauled, coaching was modernised, and a golden generation followed. The question now is whether the federation is prepared to do the same again. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.